Hey everybody, welcome back to Focus 411, TSi's weekly newsletter. Today we have something a little different. Our own President and CEO Wayne Smith was recently interviewed by a blogger named Xander Alexander. Pretty cool name. And he caught up with Wayne at the PSA Tech Conference in Denver recently, and about a week ago he posted this video interview that I will supply the link to in the description for this. But specifically as part of that conversation, I wanted to introduce the conversation as it relates to our ISO certifications, and specifically as it relates to ISO 42001 and ISO 27001. And the reason that these two things are so important is, Wayne, for over a decade, has been pounding the drum about the importance of convergence, which is the melding of digital and physical security together. And TSi happens to be the only security integrator with the ISO 42001 certification, which is the ethical and hygienic practice of using AI in security. This is real cutting edge stuff. Now, last week we talked to Alex Ballou about how TSi is using AI and how this certification applies to that. This is how we apply it in terms of how we present ourselves to our clients and what we do for them, and Wayne's explanation and vision on that. So I'd like to thank Xander Alexander for doing this interview and posting it. And again, this was on LinkedIn, and I'm going to provide the link to the full interview. But I did want to give you guys the clip on the conversation around those ISO certifications. Now, in addition to that, we've been talking about AI a lot lately. So in addition to what we talked with Alex about last week and these ISO certifications today, so last week we published an AI white paper, which is basically a research paper by our own Lance Holloway. And we posted that on LinkedIn, and I will provide you the link to that as well. This is a really, really big topic, and I'm sure that for a lot of you, you're thinking, why in the world does this matter to me? It matters to you for all kinds of reasons. First of all, we're all using AI in our personal lives. There are some very strict rules around how we use it at TSi. And whether you are a field service technician or you work in finance, this is going to touch your job at some point. This is going to become an important element in what we do. So it's important that we go ahead and have conversations around it now, and that we shape the narrative, and that we are part of the thought leadership in the security industry around AI and what it means to us and our clients and our partners. Okay, I hope you guys enjoy this short clip from the interview with Wayne and Xander Alexander. And if you want to watch the full video, I'm going to provide the link in the description here. Okay, you guys have a great weekend. I will see you next week. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Security. Yes, we're keeping it that way. Xander Alexander here, where we talk about signal over noise, integration over silos, and action over outrage. Today, I have the pleasure. We are in Denver, Colorado. Seems like I'm on the road a whole lot right now, doing traveling podcasts. Maybe I should make that a thing. But I'm speaking with Wayne Smith from Tech Systems. How you feeling today, Wayne?
Great.
Doing well?
Thanks for having me.
So, Matt connected us, right?
Right.
The president CEO of PSA. And one of the things when I went to go research about your company, that I found very, very intriguing is that you guys have your 27001 and what's the AI one that recently came out? What is it?
42001.
42001. And when did that come out?
Let's see, we got it in 25, so
Okay.
I think it was maybe just on the back half of 24.
So what I find very, very interesting, because you are a security company, and I want to know a little bit more about Tech Systems and why you guys went that route of obtaining those two certifications, right? But what I find just really, really fascinating, on top of the fact that you have these two, is it seems as if that your company does a lot with convergence. And convergence is one of the things that I champion as I go around and I speak at different conferences and events. I'm always talking about the convergence. Probably a good bit because I come from a cybersecurity background and now I'm in this physical security world. And those two things we were talking off camera a moment ago. They absolutely collide. They cross over. They blur the lines. And so, I guess first of all, tell me about yourself, Wayne.
Okay.
Kind of your history a little bit.
Yeah. Appreciate it again. So I'm CEO of Tech Systems today, but back in probably the early 2000s, we were working with Tech Systems on a number of projects. Company I worked with, I was responsible for cybersecurity and physical security. Yeah. So, we probably have a passion about the same things and the criticality of that. But Daryl Keeler, who was the original founder, asked me to come over to Tech Systems to help, bridge that gap in Convergence. And so I think if you look back to that time frame, it was a buzzword back then. Right?
Yeah.
And we were talking about how slow the industry works and how slow they really adopt some of these cyber concepts and stuff like that. So we came over and almost immediately, I went on the road talking about some of the same things today, evangelist for Convergence, and the whole physical logical connection. And so, from that, we've built over the course of the last 20 years in particular, yes, we do security like a lot of other integrators out there do, but we also are very innovative and we're very technical in our approach. So we're able to do large-scale, complex solutions, build APIs, do a lot of the things that most integrators don't want to do or have the capacity to do. So when it comes to cybersecurity, something I'm very passionate about, we started out to achieve the ISO 27 because I believe if you're going to be out there talking to people and we work some of the biggest brands in the world, right? Fortune 500s, a lot of healthcare, some critical infrastructure type people. So if you're going to do that kind of work, you got to be careful about what you're putting on the network, and you got to make sure that you're going through, the governance and whatnot. So that was the reason why we chose to pursue the 2701 was to, give us a leg up, a bit of a advantage to our competition who they may talk about it, but we actually live it.
You do it.
And put it in everything that we do in terms of even selecting product.
Okay.
So, we want to make sure that whatever products we're putting on networks are also, they're cyber secure. They have the right hardening and things like that are going on before we ever take it to the client and even recommend something like that. So that was a precursor. 2701 was, I think, in 2017. And then the 4201 we got in 24, I believe, early 25.
Was that something that you helped champion, or the CEO president at the time, was that something that
No, it was something, collectively as a group, we did. Obviously, I championed it as well, but it was important to us because we saw where things were going. Right? And now, if you go back 3 years ago at the ISC West show, you would have seen AI, but not to the level that it is now. Everything that you see and touch out there now has got some sort of AI in it, whether you're doing that internally or externally. So we felt like, again, if we're going to be out there on that bandwagon, we need to know and make sure that people are confident in what we know and that we're doing the right thing. So I think the important part about 4201 is, you don't become some AI expert, but what you do become is cognizant of the fact that there's a lot of pitfalls.
Correct.
There's a lot of inaccurate things being said out there. There's a lot of products that have a lot of hype that don't actually live the value there. So I think from our perspective, it was always about, hey, let's make sure that we're putting this in our process. If we're going to, again, select a product, then let's make sure that they've at least looked at some of these frameworks, that they're looking at good governance, good ethical practices, and that sort of thing. So that's why we pursued that.
So in essence, just like 27001, it has these guardrails. It brings some type of standardization to the table, which is better than nothing. Now, I'm sure that they'll do tweaks as if they, right? No, probably every year, maybe every 6 months, right? But it'll be ongoing. Let me ask you this. What type of doors? Well, I have two questions. I'll ask another one first. So you mentioned a moment ago that the adoption is slow for the physical side of security.
Right.
Any thoughts as to why that is?
I don't know. Well, it's disappointing. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Again, because coming from an IT background, we did things much more rapidly. But there were a lot of standards around it, as you well know. I think the physical security side of the domain has not really had that. It's not been standards and some other things put in there. So it is very slow. However, I think the rate of change today
Okay.
is really, really fast in our industry today. So, people have bought onto it. We're not going back.
You're not.
I used to have conversations with people all the time. And they say, well, we don't have to go to a DVR or an MVR or whatever. There's really no choice here. The choice going forward is everything is on a network. I don't care what kind of product it is. Nobody's buying analog cameras
Exactly
on there. Maybe a couple of government agencies still believe in that. Not much.
I'm not so with that.
So I think it's really a matter of choice now that they were being dragged along for a long time. It was. And I think now it's forced adoption. And now that doesn't mean that you go out and make radical decisions. I just feel like that, we're at that place now where the technology is moving so fast and so rapidly. And you look at the products that we have out there. They're doing a really good job. The products that, I look at a Motorola. I was just at their convention in San Diego.
Okay.
And I know there's a real emphasis on.
I was there too. I didn't see you there.
I didn't see it. We should have got together.
We should have.
But no, you look at that. I mean, they're on the right path. If you look at the ones that are doing really well.
Yeah.
I won't name a lot of other names out there, but they're all have that strategy. And I think that's what's separating a lot of it. So the adoption is much faster. And I think people realize that there's not really an alternative here. You're either you're gonna do it. I'm not one of those people that say, get on board or you're gonna be out of business.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a good business and it'll last, but for our business, this was the right thing to do.
Yeah. Anything else that you would like to share or comment about? I know we didn't get to the security headline that I wanted to initially share about, but I thought this conversation was probably a little bit better in essence of just talking about those two big certifications. And you are one of the few companies that I've seen that holds both of them.
I think we're the only security integrator out there. I know on the 4201, we were one of the very
you were one of the first,
to get it. And now I know everybody else is pursuing it now. So listen, I believe education, knowledge lifts everybody. I hope that every other integrator out there pursues these things because I think it will make them better.
Yes.
And again, if we're, this community is a very small community, but we want to lift everybody up. And I hope that we are lifting the security integration company, the physical security companies up to a place where everybody can level up. And then, the conversation you were talking about with someone about having those opportunities for RMR, this will expand a lot of opportunities.
It really
I
will.
spoke this morning, somebody asked me, well, what's the future for tech systems? And I can confidently say we have more opportunity now than we've ever had. I want that for everyone, right? Because I think that's just good, healthy competition. So that would be my only comment.
Yeah.
Let's lift everybody up and let's educate people and do better as an organization, do better as an industry.
For sure. Well, Wayne, I thank you for your time. For the audience, thank you for tuning in to Security